Hi! Welcome to another episode of Clumsy Computer, where we code stuff from scratch. And today, we will be making a Twitch bot. We're gonna have a lot of fun. This one on stream right now, it's our 100 follower anniversary. We're having a little party, so we're gonna have a bit of fun. And this Twitch bot is gonna have, there's two things about this Twitch bot. First of all, while coding this Twitch bot, we're also gonna learn about how we can code some things in such a way that we can really learn how to structure things better and make things easier for ourselves. And I'll try to highlight those things as we do them. And secondly, the thing with this Twitch bot is it'll be quite extensible. And it'll support these kind of commands, you know, these like when you do ! Discord, and then you can, for example, the bot can say, you know, join our Discord, but it can also reply to the user, so you can have arguments in these commands as well. And it will also support custom commands, and we're going to do it in something like 150 lines of code, and we'll only have a couple of imports. It'll really be from scratch. We're not using any libraries or anything like that. So with that, let's get started. Now, what is a Twitch bot? Well, Twitch chat is based on IRC. Do you guys remember IRC from the good old days? And basically what IRC is a protocol where you exchange text commands back and forth. And so our very first step is going to be connecting to the Twitch IRC. Now, how are we going to do that? Well, first of all, let's think about how we're going to structure our bot before we start writing any code. And I think it'll be easiest if we just make a class, because we will have a few kind of state variables going on. We have some state that we need to remember, such as, you know, our commands and stuff like that. Maybe we, in the future, I mean, we won't really do it now, but maybe you want some custom commands where it remembers stuff and it pulls stuff out of files and so on. So a class might be the best approach here. So here's what we're going to do. We're just basically going to define a class, and our class is just going to be called bot. And we're just going to define this constructor. And inside this constructor, well, let's see what we need to do. So first of all, we need to know what we're going to connect to. So let's just call this IRC server, and that's irc.twitch.tv. That's just what it is. And then also we have a port. So IRC port is going to be 6667. Now, additionally, we need the password. The password is an OAuth token. So we're going to call it that, and we're going to get it from this. And you might be wondering, okay, what is that? Well, we're going to import a file called config, not corn, but config. And I'm just going to show you, I can't show you this file because obviously it has my Twitch OAuth token. I could change it, but I'm just going to show you a file called config. Will just have this OAuth token equals, and it's going to start with OAuth, and then it's going to have some stuff in there. This is what it's supposed to look like, and you can look it up in the Twitch documentation how to get this, and you just save this in a file called config, basically. Right, and then other than that, what are we going to need? Well, basically we're going to need our username, and the username that I have for this bot is an account that I've had for a while. It's called Squishy McBody. And then we're going to have the channels, and we want this bot to support multiple channels so that we can use it for multiple Twitch channels. You know, we don't have to run it a million times. We can just run it once, and it can connect to various channels if we so desire. And these channels right now are just going to be Squishy McBody, for example. Now, we do need to connect to IRC, and so that means we need an import. I know. We usually code without imports on the stream, just to show how we make things from scratch, but we will have to import socket, and then to use socket, we're just going to make a function called connect, and it's just going to take self. And this connect function basically is just going to connect us to IRC, and we can call it from here. So let's instantiate our bot is going to be a new instance, and then we can just do bot.connect. Now, what do we do in this connect method? Well, we want to define our connection to IRC, and we're just going to instantiate that like this by saying self.irc equals a new socket, right? And to connect, we're just going to say self.irc.connect. So with our new socket, we're connecting to something, and the format that this takes is, it's a tuple. And then we're just going to do our IRC server and our IRC port. So that's all good. We're connected. And then after we connect, you know, you can look all this up in the Twitch documentation, but basically what we want to do is send our password, our name, and then join our channels. And then maybe we want to send a message, for example, let's say. So let's just go ahead and send some stuff to the server. Now, to send commands, it's easiest if we just make a function. So we're just going to do the sort of send command function in our class, and it'll just take self on whatever command we want to send. Now, I don't really want to show you guys my password again. Not as a big deal, but you know, So we're just gonna say, unless we have pass in our command, we're just gonna print, and we want to print it out so that we see what's going on. And in the Twitch documentation, you know, stuff that's sent from the client has this kind of less than sign, and stuff from the server has a greater than sign. You know, we're just gonna follow that because why not? And then we can just do self.irc.send, and then we're gonna take our command and we're gonna add a sort of Windows new line. That's just what Twitch takes, and we're just gonna encode that because we want to do the UTF-8 encoding of that string for Twitch to accept it. That's basically it. Now that we've done that, we want to self.irc_port. What am I typing here? So now that we've done that, basically what we want to do is we want to do self.send command, and what we're going to send is first of all our password, so it's going to be pass self.oauth_token, and then our name, and then our name was what did we say it was username. So now we're telling Twitch, hey, here's our token so that you know we're legit, and then here's our nickname that we're going to be using to send messages and so on. And then we want to join the channels, but we said we can use more than one channel. In this case we only have one, but for channel in channels, we're going to say we're going to send a join command. So self.send command, and it's just going to say join, then this pound sign, and then we're going to have just channel, basically. So just whatever channel we want to join. And then we can also send a message in that channel just to verify that we've connected successfully. Now for that we don't have a function yet, so we could just say command, but let's just say send priv msg, and then this private message is basically, it's not a whisper or something like that like you might think. It's just because of sort of the whole IRC thing, how it's set up. A priv msg, a private message, is basically a chat message, so just any message that you might write in chat. And so we want the channel and then the text of the message, and then we can simply do self.send command, and then it's going to be private message, and then this pound sign, and then our channel, and then a colon, and then our text. It's just how it is, and you'll see that this is kind of a trend, as a colon means kind of the start of the message. So now that we've done that, we can say self.send private message channel, and then we can say hey there, you know, why not? Now after we've connected, we will also be getting stuff from, sorry, self.channels here. After we've connected, we will also be getting stuff from Twitch. Actually, we're going to be getting quite a lot of stuff from Twitch, in fact. And so to do that, what we want to do is after we connect, we want to sort of loop and wait for all these messages. So let's just make a new method. We can call it here self.loop for messages. And then we're just going to say def loop for messages. It takes nothing, it just takes self, and we're just going to say while true. You know, if you're making this into a larger bot, you may want to just, you know, say while, you know, not should stop or something like that, because you may want to stop it eventually, but right now we're just going to loop for true. And then the messages that you get from Twitch will be, again, these IRC messages, but they will be separated by new lines, and you may get whatever number of messages in a single go. So you need to be prepared for that. So we're just gonna say received messages is gonna be, so self.irc is our IRC kind of connection, our socket, and we're just gonna say receive, and then, you know, the number, I believe it is the number of bytes that you would like to read max. Now we're just gonna say, you know, 2 megabytes. Like there's no way it's gonna be more than that. Probably way less would be enough, but sure, that works. And we just decode that again, because again we're sending UTF-8 encoded stuff, and we need to decode the UTF-8 stuff that we get back. Now for received message in received messages dot split by these, so again this is like a Windows kind of new line for some reason, it's just how it is, and for each one of these messages we want to handle that message. Now what that means may differ, but right now we're just going to print them out. Just going to say self.handle message received message. All right, we're all good. And then let's just make that handle message command. It's going to take self and received message, and we're just going to say, let's just print it out. How are we going to do this? So we said less than, so we're going to do greater than received message, basically is what we want to do. And now we are ready to run this. I've just realized that I do want to have a tmux session so that I can run two things at the same time. So I'm just going to start that up real quick and then just do edit my test.py and just run it. And let's see what happens. And okay, now let's have a look at what just happened. And in fact, I'm just going to open up. I also have a little window here with the chat, with the Twitch chat. So if you look up there, you can see this is our little chat on Twitch, and you see that our bot has successfully sent that message, which is super cool actually. So that's fantastic. We did it first try. And so let's look at what just happened so that we better understand all the messages going on and all this kind of stuff. So first of all, we're sending Nick. Well, first of all, we're sending pass, but it's not showing it. Then we're sending Nick, and this is our nickname. Then we're joining this channel, and then we're sending a private priv MSG, so a chat message, which is just saying, hey there. So that works, okay? And then Twitch, now this is the part where we're gonna have to put most of the work in, because as you can see, Twitch sends us a bunch of stuff, and we have to make sense of it. How do we make sense of all this stuff? Well, we're gonna need to parse it, and that's gonna be kind of fun, and we can do it. We're just gonna try to do kind of a universal solution. I'm not sure that this works for every single thing Twitch will send you, but you know, for me, it's worked so far. Basically what you can see is this is the message of the day. This is an IRC thing, and it's just telling you some details about the server, and then it's acknowledging that you've said to join this channel, and then it's telling you who's in this channel. In this case, it's just us. And that's pretty much it. Now, how do we parse these things? Well, we're gonna have to take those out into a kind of message object. We're gonna have to put that into a kind of message object. Now, what is that gonna be? We could just do kind of a regular object, and you know, I would normally do that just to avoid having imports, because again, we try to like just use as few imports as possible. Not that you should necessarily do that in your code, but just to understand everything that's happening. But actually, this time I'm going to import something, and I'm going to do from collections import named tuple. And what named tuple is, well, let's actually really create it. So we're just going to say we create a message. And if you're familiar with let's say a struct, this is kind of what it is. So we just first you give it the name of the thing that you're creating. So in this case, it's a message, and then we're gonna add all the fields that it has, and then you can access it by saying message equals message, and you put some stuff in here, and then you can say like message dot username or whatever. This is just really handy because we can work with this instead of objects, and the advantages to doing this, and let's take this as the first point here of you know, learning a bit about how to structure things better. There are two advantages to using named tuple. So the first advantage is that we don't have to, you know, we can just always use these kind of dot things. We don't have to deal with a dict, and you know, we always just have the same fields, and that's more convenient. And the second advantage, which is kind of the same thing, but it's more from like a code structure perspective, is we can rely on the message always having these fields. And so when we create a message, we need to sort of specify at least some kind of valid, or not valid, but we need to, you know, say, okay, which are these fields, and then we know that we also have them, because otherwise if you would just use a dict, maybe for example you don't have channel in it, like you're saying it's a message but you don't have channel, and you're like, okay, what do I do now? Do I have to check every time? No, you know that a message always has these fields. And let's just see what all of these fields are, and I have them written down. So basically our fields are going to be, and we can also look at the Twitch Twitch output in the meantime. So prefix, what is prefix? Well, prefix is going to be this part at the beginning, and that's just telling us information about, you know, the server and the user and all this relevant stuff. There's just this part at the beginning, so we want to remember that. Now let's look at what the second thing is. Well, we might want the user as well, the user which this pertains to. So for example, if it's a priv MSG, that's the user who sent the message, but maybe we don't need that. But it's a field that we will have sometimes for those kinds of messages. And then we might also need the channel, because again, if it's a priv MSG, that's related to a channel. For example, this MOTD is not related to a channel, and that's fine. Then we're gonna have an IRC command and IRC args. So this is a command, but it's not like an exclamation mark Discord kind of command. We'll get to that. But basically here the command is, you know, 376, for example. This is an IRC command, 376 over here. Oh, and that means is end of MOTD. But in the future, priv MSG is also a command. So that's just saying, what are we doing? Well, priv MSG. So we need to keep that as well. the arguments, the command might also have arguments, so it might have privmsg and then the channel. So that's going to be an argument to privmsg, and we're also going to split that out into the channel just so it's easy to read. We're just trying to make this name tuple so that it's the easiest thing for us to work with possible. Then we're going to have the text, and here we're getting to the actual user message. So the text in this case would be hey there, and as you can see above here. Hey there would be the text, and that's just the sort of message for privmsg, for example. And then we have two more things. We have text command and text args, and what these are if your message is, and it'll start with a colon, it'll be, for example, bang discord or bang welcome at Vlad H, for example. Here we're gonna split this out. This is gonna be your text command, this is gonna be our text args, and this whole thing kind of is gonna be our text. So that means we can always access the whole text, but when we want to get the command, if any, that the user is using, then that's going to be just the first bit, basically. And we can just check the first bit of the command if it matches something that we know is a command. Otherwise, we don't have to do anything with it. And then the args are just going to be the rest of the stuff, basically. All right, now you may be thinking, well, how do we get everything out of here? And you can see that this is perfect timing, guys. This is absolutely perfect timing because we've just gotten a ping from Twitch. Well, what is a ping? Just as Twitch sends us responses to our commands, so we're saying, you know, join, and then Twitch is saying, oh, here's all the stuff. That same way, Twitch can send us commands, and as you can see, commands have a slightly different kind of syntax because, for example, they don't have this stuff at this prefix at the start, and we need to handle that as well. And what a ping command is, it's just something that Twitch periodically sends to check that you're still there. And as you might expect, when Twitch sends ping, you have to reply with pong. And so we're gonna handle that as well. So now let's look at how we're gonna parse this message. Well, here's what we're gonna do. First of all, let's just make a function. Let's make it here. Why not? Def parse message, and it's gonna be self and just our received message. And we're gonna return, let's just return none for now. And here we're gonna say message equals self.parse message of our received message, and then we're going to print our message, and that'll have a nice, albeit a little bit long, string representation. So now we've just be printing none all the time. But what we now want to do is we're going to do something, you know, we're going to say message equals a message, and then we're going to put a bunch of stuff in here, and then we're going to return this message. And now the question is, you know, why, you know, or how would we put everything into this message? And now we're just going to take all of those parts and we're just going to set them to none, just so that we can have everything, you know, start up from the beginning, and we can just make sure that we have a valid message no matter what. So maybe, for example, we don't have a command, we don't have, you know, a channel, but, you know, we're just going to set everything to none. So what do we have here? We're going to have the user, the channel, the text command, the text args, the IRC command, and the IRC args. All right, so I think that's it. And then we're just going to say our message parts are going to be received message dot split, and then we're going to split by a space. So that's enough for now. And then we can just say, you know, when we're making this message, is a prefix equals prefix, and user is user, channel is channel, text is text, text command equals text command. We could have done a nice old Vim macro here as well. We could have done, but I'm gonna save that because I also want to do an episode on sort of Vim basics, and we'll just maybe do that there. All right, so now we're making our message, and now our message is completely empty. All right, now how do we start to split this stuff out? Now, guys, listen. This is where we start to split things out. Now let's look at this logically. Okay, let's look at all this stuff logically. So the first thing is the very first thing that we split out, and we're going to try to do this in a way such that we don't have to have a lot of ifs and conditions. And this is the whole reason, this is also another reason that I haven't mentioned so far why we made this data structure. If we've already split everything out of our message that we might conceivably need, it's all split out already. Or it's like the channel is taken out, the user is taken out, and we don't have to later do stuff like, oh, well, if this is a priv message, then take out our user, and if we have a user, then do whatever. it's not, you know, it's more declarative, we can say. It's a bit more of a declarative structure, a bit of more of a declarative style, because we have all of our data, and then based on what we have in that data, which we're not messing around with anymore, we can decide what we want to do. So let's look at the first thing that we want to split out always. So if our first part that we've split by spaces, so in this case it'll be :tmi.twitch.tv, and if that thing starts with a colon, and in fact that no, actually, yeah, that should work. And so if that starts with a colon, here's what we can do. That's now the prefix, right? So we can just do prefix equals that very first, the 0th part, so the first part, and then we just take off, because we know it starts with a colon, and then we take off everything. We take it from the 2nd character onwards. So we're just taking off the colon. So now we can take that out of our parts. So our parts are going to be parts. Just take out the first part, because we don't need that anymore. Except if you look in here, in this command, there are commands where the user, so for example, if you have a priv msg, the user is actually going to be in this thing here, and you need to take it out. So before we throw away our first part, our prefix, let's do another thing, and we're just going to say our user is going to be get user from prefix, and let's just write that function. Okay, get user from prefix, and it's just going to have the normal self and then the prefix. Now let's see how we can do that. Well, there are two we're gonna have to rerun the bot actually, because Twitch got fed up with us and we're just now reading forever. I think we can let's just do pass here, or return none, and we have to rerun the script. Let's see if it works. All right, so oh, you can see we've already taken out the prefix, so that's fantastic. The prefix is already in our struct, which is fantastic. And now we just need to take out the user. But now, yeah, so let's look here's our long prefix. Now in this prefix there are two situations. Either you can see the two of them here. So here's the first one. Either we have this kind of thing where we have the username right before the bang, and then we can just take that, or we have this this thing without the bang, in which case we just take out the tmi.twitch.tv. And so because we have these two situations, we can just handle it in a very simple way. And then we can just say, well, first of all, let's see if the thing, let's just take everything before the bang. And actually, I'll show you what we're gonna do. So our domain is gonna be our prefix, and we're gonna split it by the bang, and we're gonna take the first thing. Now this means that if there is a bang, it'll just take everything before it, and if there's no bang, it'll just give us the same thing back. Now if that thing, our domain, so our domain here would be this kind of thing here, this second example, if it ends with .tmi.twitch.tv, then that's really easy, right? Because in that case we can just say, well, replace .tmi.twitch.tv with nothing, and there we go. All right, that's our thing. And so this will work for actually both cases, because either we've taken, so in this case we've taken everything before the bang, which is this, and there's no tmi.twitch.tv, so we can just return that. Or we have no bang, and then we have this whole thing, and we need to take sort of the whole thing out. So basically we're saying if tmi.twitch.tv is not in our domain, so if we're in this situation where we just have the exclamation mark and the username before it, we just return the domain. However, we may be in the situation where we don't have either of those, we have something else. It's possible. So for example, in here we have, for example, just tmi.twitch.tv, there's no username there, and so we just return none, and that's fine. And so now we're getting our user, so we can rerun the bot, and as you can see here, we're getting user squishy monk body for this configuration, and for this configuration we're getting user squishy monk body, so it worked perfectly. All right, now what is the next thing that we want to get? Well, here's how we can simplify our life a little bit, because what a priv msg is going to look like, and we don't have it here. I wonder if I write in the chat here, will it do it? I think it'll do it. It might do it. I'm not sure. Okay, somehow I guess it does. It makes sense. It doesn't give your own messages back. I'm just gonna I'm just gonna give you an example of what it looks like. So a priv msg, what it will look like is it'll look something like you know, whatever domain stuff, and then priv msg, and then channel, so it'll be, you know, squishy McBody, and then it'll be like colon hello there, right? So basically the point I'm trying to make is another way that we can simplify or take stuff out of this message already is at the end we're gonna have, if we do have a message, it'll be this kind of colon thing and it'll say the message. So this will be at the end. If it's at the end, we're gonna simplify. We've already taken off the domain, and we can simplify it even more by taking off this text, and then we have the text as well. Now this one is slightly trickier than the last one, guys, because it's slightly trickier because we have to go through every element and see, okay, is there one that starts with a colon? And how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to use an iterator and then just see if we can get something out of that iterator. So we need the index as well, is kind of the thing, right? So we need the index of the first part that starts with a semicolon, or sorry, with a colon, if it exists. And so we're just going to say text start equals next. So this, we're getting the next thing out of the iterator, and then we're going to say index for index and part in enumerate our parts, right? And then we're just going to say if our part starts with, right, our colon. And then next we'll also take a second value, and we can just say none here. And what that none is, it's saying if this doesn't exist, if we can find this, we just give none back. So if we don't have that colon, you know, we just say none. Now if this thing is not none, right, if it's not none, well, let's think about it. What do we want to do first? So we want to take it out of the parts, right? So we want to take the text parts first of all, and the text parts are going to be our parts starting at text start. So again, our parts are the space separated things, and text start is the index of the part where our message or our text is going to start. So what we also want to do is the first text part is we want to take off that text parts of 0 and then 1, right? So we know, again, by virtue of us having done this iterator, we know that the first part of our text is going to start with a colon, and we don't want that colon. We already know it's a message. Okay, we're good. Okay. And then we also want our full text, if you remember. So we're just going to join those parts back up. We're going to join those text parts back up using a space. So we split them by a space. We're joining them back up to get the full message. And then we want our text command, let's not forget, and our text args. This is what we want. We can't, so let's not worry about that right now, and we're just going to do self.parse text of text, right? So we just give it the text, and it'll know how to split it up. Now let's not forget about what we need to do next. So we're going to keep working with these parts. So we just want to say take these parts, and we're just going to take them up to the start of our text, right? So all of these message parts that are space separated, we're just going to take everything up to where our message started. And this works because the message is going to be the last thing, at least as far as I know. I haven't seen anything where there's something after the message. I don't think it would work anyway. So here's what that is. Now with parse text, it's a very simple function. We don't really have to worry about it. We can just put that in. We could have just inlined that, but let's just say parse text, and it's going to take self and the text. And again, our text is going to be this kind of thing. So it's going to be like colon bang Discord hello, for example. Actually, we've taken the colon out. So it'll be extremely simple. We're just going to say, well, actually, you know what we can do? I think we can do an even easier thing. We're going to cheat a little bit, and we're just going to say text command equals text parts of 0 and then text args. And we don't even need another function now that I think about it. So yeah, let's just do that. We don't need another method. It's super easy. It's very easy stuff. All right. So here we've joined the text back up, but we still have those text parts, right? So the things that are separated by spaces, and the command is going to be the first thing, and everything after that is going to be args. Okay. So yeah, that's everything for our message. And then, you know, once we've done all that, we've taken the stuff off of the end, we've taken of the start, and we've taken the stuff off of the end as well. And now all we're left with is some IRC stuff. So it could be, for example, priv message. So if we say prefix priv message channel message, we've taken this part off the start, we've taken the message off of the end. And now what we're left with is the first thing is going to be the IRC command. As you can see that it always is, right? So we're not printing out the, let me just print out the lines. But if you remember, it was exactly like that, right? So it's just the second thing after the prefix was always the IRC command, and then everything else. So if we take the IRC command and we say that's our IRC command, everything else, in fact, let's do that. IRC command equals parts, the first one, and then IRC args equals parts from the second one. So basically, this is priv message, for example, and this is hash channel. Then basically what we have is our command is priv message, and our args are whatever comes after the command. And then there's something else that you may have noticed that we haven't done yet, and that is the channel. So we don't have the channel. Well, if there is a channel, it's going to be in our IRC args, because again, it's priv message, you know, whatever channel. And so to do that, we just need to do the exact same thing. So in fact, we can just copy paste this, and we just want to find this hash sign. So we're just gonna say if it starts with a hash, and we're not doing it in parts, but we're doing it over IRC args. So if there's any IRC arg that starts with a hash, well, if hash start is not none, what we can do then is we can do our channel is going to be our IRC args at that position. All right, so at that position, and after that, we're just going to take off, because again, we know that it starts with this hash sign, and we're just going to take that off. And now, guys, that should be complete. So that should all work. Oh, almost. So string object does not support item assignment. Now, why would that be, right? Text parts. Let's debug this real quick. So, oh shoot, well, I've forgotten a colon here actually, because we need to take all of the parts after the text start, not just that one part where the text starts. Okay, so now you can see, unfortunately again, we can't see our own messages. So let me fix that real quick. Let me just fix that real quick. And that just means that what I want to do right now is I want to be able to write into this chat, because I've actually made it so that you can't. And then let's just do this, and I believe that I can go on my normal account and write in the chat. So let me just say hello, for example. Let me just say a hello. If I write hello, see, it'll show up in here. There we go. All right, and I show up in there, and let's see if it parsed that command. Okay, so here we have a message, and looks like this is my message that I sent. So the prefix is this prefix, the user is my user, the channel is the correct channel, the command is private message, the args are correct. So you can see now that we've taken the channel out of the args. The text is my full message text, and then the command is going to be hello. Now the command is just going to be the first part, even if it's not really a command, but let's see if it's a real command, if it works, because that's really what we care about. Discord, or you know, welcome potato, I don't know, whatever. And here you can see that we're saying, see, our text command is oh sorry, that's my own message. So now it is giving me my own messages. That's funny. But let's find my message. Man, this is a bit hard to read with all of this text, but yeah, there it is. So in the Squishy McBody channel, there's a priv message. The user is Squishy McBody. Okay, that's wrong. That is actually wrong. So let's see how we can fix that, because we need the user. We need the user for that message, which is Vlad H. It should be, yeah. But anyway, our command is correct. So our text is bang welcome potato, so our command is welcome, and then our text args are potato. Oh, I've just realized what happened. I've just realized what happened, guys. Let me fix this. I was wondering, why am I getting my own messages? What is going on? Well, I have another bot running in the background. I was like, why is this happening? All right, I'm like, where are we getting these replies from? So let's just refresh this and do that again. That's silly. So let's just reconnect, and let's just say bang hello potato. All right, there we go. All right, is that all good? So you can see that we have this prefix here. Oh, I've written it as myself again. So let's do a hello potato from Vlad H. Finally, now guys, we have this prefix here, and then the user is now correct. So sorry, it was just me running two things at once. The user is now correct. The channel is correct. The command is correct. The args are correct. Our text is right. Our command is hello, and our args are potato. So now that we've cleared up that small confusion, we can see that everything works perfectly. So again, if you're not sure what this is printing out, this is our message struct which we defined the way we wanted it, and the user is being split out, and all of these things are being split out and put into this object. So let's look again. This is where we return message basically, and then basically we have handle message here, and now we can move on to the message handling part. So we've parsed everything, guys. We've parsed everything, and now we can move on to handling the message. So we've done most of the work actually, and it went pretty easily. You can see that we're at 100, well you can't see, but I can see that we're at 117 lines of code, which is really not that much, and then we've handled all the messages. And now you might be thinking, well, but wait a minute. We haven't really done much. We haven't really done much at all. Well, right, but because of the way we coded it, now doing more things with these messages is going to be super easy. Now, let's see our handle message function. First of all, you may have noticed something else which was cluttering up our input. You can see that we have these messages that just have nothing in them. And that's because these are just kind of new lines that Twitch is going to send. We don't need those. We don't need those at all. So we're just going to say if the length of our received message is equal to 0, we can just return and just not do anything. So now if we do this again, and I write from my chat here, hello, potato. All right, it's connected, and now you can see that we don't have those extra messages anymore because we're just ignoring those empty messages. This is just something that Twitch is going to send you. It's just going to send you new lines sometimes. Now, this is the part, and people have been asking in chat because people have been asking in chat because this is live on Twitch, on twitch.tv/clumsycomputer. So if you're watching this on YouTube, check it out. People have been asking, okay, well, what is this bot gonna do? What features do we want it to have? Well, here's where we can start talking about the features, and you're gonna see that with just a few lines of code, it's gonna do so much. Actually, it's gonna be really extensible. So first of all, we want it to be able to reply to messages like, for example, if I were to write here, bang welcome Vlad H, then this would be a command. So this welcome command might print out something like welcome to the server Vlad H. And what this means is when we get a certain command, it's going to have a certain template string that's associated with it, and then it takes arguments as well. And so that's one kind of thing, because sometimes you want things like, for example, exactly that, like welcome or like shout out. So SO, you know, whatever, Vlad H. And so this will say, you know, check at Vlad H out, for example, something like that. So you can make these kinds of commands with this bot that we're going to have. And then the second type of commands is it's just going to have a general kind of structure for supporting functions that you might want to write however you want to write them, right? So, you know, however you want to write these functions, it'll be really easy for you to just pop in a function and say, well, just give me, we're going to do the current date, for example. Now, let's start with those template-based messages. These template messages, ideally, right, you would want to store such that they persist over like restarts of the bot, and then you, with the bot, you can add sort of commands or edit commands and so on. You can do it with the structure quite easily, but to do that you have to write to a file and read from a file and need to have a file format. I mean, you can do CSV, but you know, all these things. Now, I want to avoid that, but you can do that if you want, and we can maybe do another part of this, another video in this series. But right now, I'm just going to define them at the top of my file, and the reason I'm defining them at the top of my file, is just to illustrate that these won't necessarily be part of our class. They could be in a separate file that we load in. So let's just do like this Discord command. So no, please join our Discord server. And then we're just going to put something in here I'm going to show in a second, and then we can also say welcome, and you can just use this to welcome, or like shout out, for example. Let's do shout out, and you can say check out you know, someone, they are a nice streamer, let's say. And here maybe we want to, let's show off another thing. Okay, let's go crazy. We want to show off, you know, being able to use multiple kinds of variables here. So please join the whatever Discord server, and this is going to be our channel. Now what we can do is we've defined these template strings, and let's just say we pass a message into it. What would it look like? Well, we just have here message.channel, right? So this would just be the message that triggered the command, and we can somehow pass it into our template. That's why it's a template. And in here it would be you know, message.user, which is simple. This is just the same message that we had before, and we're passing it into this template, or we will be. But here, well, we want to do shout out like at VladH, and that's an argument. And so, well, we already did this stuff with the arguments. We said message.text args, and we just want to take the first one, for example, right? So again, this is where you can see that because we structured things in this way, you don't have to do ifs or any stuff like that. You can just have this kind of declarative structure and use it. Now, I do realize that this, for example, might fail, you know, if you don't have arguments like this, will do a sort of an index error and stuff like that. You know, you can handle that and so on. I'm just not going to do it right now because I want it to be as simple as possible, but it's not a problem to handle. Right, and so now that we have those commands, let's look at how we can actually implement them. Well, right, so let's look at handle message. Well, in handle message, we haven't really done anything yet, right? We haven't really done anything yet. We just take the message and we print it out. But now we want to say, oh, we didn't do one thing actually. We want to say another thing. If in the message, so in the message that we received from Twitch, the IRC command is, it won't be private message, so it won't be a chat message, it'll be ping. All right, what we want to do is send command, and we want to send, and this is the format, pong, and then tmi.twitch.tv. Right, so we just want to be able to support that, and then we can see that probably, you see, we've gone the ping and nothing happened. So let's simulate a ping, okay? Let's simulate, let's just add the ping at the front. So let's just say, it looks like this when you get it from Twitch. TMI, or sorry, ping, rather, tmi.twitch.tv. And just so you are and just I'm gonna add that. So I'm just acting as if I'm pretending that we got that message so we can see that it works. So now when we run, see, we got a ping. We didn't actually get a ping, we just pretended we got a ping. It's just because it happens every like 10 minutes or so. I don't want to wait. And then we got this ping command. The command is ping, and then the text in the command was tmi.twitch.tv, and so we're just sending a pong back, and we can see that that works fine. We don't have to worry about it anymore. Again, that's just to keep the connection alive. All right, now we can move on to actually handling our commands. Well, if our IRC command is actually privmsg, what we want to do then is we want to check, is this command in our template commands? Our template commands are just these things that we replace and print out. So if message.text command in template commands, then we can just make a, say, handle template command, and we can just say, we need to pass in the whole message, and then just to simplify things, we can say, what is the command? Text command, just the one we had above. And then we can just say, let's just get it out of the template already, so we don't have to access template. So we were accessing template commands here, and then we just pass the template, so message.text command. So this is, for example, our full message. This is going to be, for example, just bang Discord, and this is going to be this whole thing at the top. So right, it's just going to be this whole thing here, right? And we're just going to pass this all to the function so that our function is as simple as possible. The reason is just so we don't have to use template commands from like a million different functions. And then we just make this function. It's called handle template command, and it's self. And what do we have to do here? Is you're gonna be amazed at how easy this is. All we want to do right now is we want to take, you might be wondering, well, why did you use, again, this is not a, we're not replacing this in the string. This is just exactly a string as you see it with these braces. You might be thinking, why do we have those braces just that way? Why don't we have like this, or, you know, whatever? Like, I know that Fossabot, for example, has this syntax, I think. The reason is that this is Python format string syntax, which means we can do something really cool. We can do something really cool. I'm just also looking at the chat and the questions that I think are really relevant for the recording as well. I'm going to answer, and then the rest I'm going to answer afterwards. But I did see a very good question, which is why pass in the template strings at a handle time instead of passing them in at the bot class creation time? So why are we just hard coding this here instead of passing it into our constructor? And the reason again is, of course, if this was real life, you'd be here like self.load template commands out of our, like, you know, whatever, template commands.csv, something like that. So you would load it in the class. But again, we're not doing all that file stuff for now. We might do it in a future video, but it would be more appropriate to do this. But right now, just to keep it simple so we don't have to mess with files and so on, we're just going to have this global variable. So again, this is not how you should do it. And actually, after the recording on stream, we're going to do it the proper way. But just for now, to make it as simple as possible, we're just going to have this thing here. So to handle this template command, well, what is actually going to be our text? So our text that we want to reply with, well, just think about it, right? We take our, so sorry, we didn't get, we have message here, text, command, and template. And now, what do we have here? Well, we're going to have our template, and we can just format. And remember, format is going to take stuff like, you know, message equals message or whatever. And we can just do this, that's fine. But I would like to be able to pass in a dict. The reason for that is maybe later I want to say message equals message, time equals time, date equals date, you know, whatever other stuff we want to expose as usable variables in our template. So to do this, I'm just going to have a dict. And then I'm just going to say, you know, message, or sorry, message like this is going to be message. But then, of course, this is a dict, so we want to expand this dict out. So what this is doing, this is like doing message equals message and everything else in the dict. So this is kind of blowing up your dict to take these, like, to have these keyword arguments for a message. So you're passing in your dict as keyword arguments to the format function, which means that you can just use a dict, which is more convenient for us because that dict, we can put whatever we want in it. We don't have to like hard code the number of arguments here, but we can still use this template thing. And now we've done it, actually. It's actually done because we structured our data in such a way that it's so easy to replace, right? We have our message. The message has everything we need. We've replaced it in the template command. That's it. And so we just need to say self.send priv msg. We need to reply. And we want to reply on message.channel, and we want to reply with our text. So let's check it out. Let's see if we got it first try. Let's see if we got these template commands first try. And remember, this is powerful enough that you can do any kind of command that basically just echoes out some text and uses some variables that you want to expose. In fact, it might be better if you're really making a proper bot. What it might be better to do is you specify just kind of these variables that it can receive, right? And it's not just passing in message, like you have a kind of API and then it's like clear, okay, I can use this. You're not just passing in data from your code. And you can just have a specification. But you know, right now we're just doing this. And in fact, this is just a simple object. We're not expanding anything out. So if you wanted to, right, you could just do, for example, this would be like a CSV file, right? So you could write this to a CSV file, for example, and then that would be fine. You could just load it out of the CSV file. It can just work like that. That can be like a nice kind of exercise to do afterwards. Right, and now let's see if it'll work. The suspense is killing me. All right, we've gotten all that intro kind of stuff, and if I just write hello, you see nothing's gonna happen. Sorry. I never took out this ping. We're ponging every time. We're ponging like there's no tomorrow. We're like every time there's a message. Oh, pong? Oh, did you say ping? Should we pong? Oh, let's pong. So let's just say hello. And again, you can see the chat right above my head. And so this is the hello command, and it doesn't match, right? So it doesn't match a command. We don't have to do anything. But if I do ! Discord, you can see that the bot replies, please join D. And again, Squishy McBody here. Squishy McBody is not hard-coded. This is our channel name. So we've taken that out of the message, or channel name. And then Vlad H here is my username, the person who sent it, right? So it supports this kind of template command. But now will it work with the argument? So shout out Vlad H. Check out Vlad H, they're a nice streamer. So it works with our argument. So everything works perfectly, right? First try. When we do Discord, it fills in the appropriate parameters here the appropriate template variables, and when I do shout out Vlad H, it puts the thing in. Okay, cool. So that's already pretty good, right? But we want to do one more thing. We want to do one more thing, and I want to use this opportunity for us to look at a way to make your code a lot easier to understand. We want to also have custom commands. So, okay, maybe you want a template command like this, but maybe you want a command that returns the time. You can't do that with a template command, right? Because you want, it's sort of like a dynamic thing that you want to do. So we're going to say, let's just see how we can define those things. So let's say that I want to get the date, and I'm just going to make a function that handles that. It's just get date, and let's just write a function that gets the date, say reply with date. Okay, so it'll reply to this message with the date, for example. And let's see how we can do that. We need to import date time. This is just so we can get the date, and we just say formatted date equals, let me look this up, date time.datetime.now. It's strf time. Wait, I think I got this. Year, month, day, hour, minute, second. I think that's right. And then our reply is going to be just let's just say like a format string. Here you go, message.user. The date is formatted date. So now we're just replying with the date. All right, just to show you that you can also put stuff in there. And then we just want to do self.send privmsg. Message.channel and then text, right? Now that's all good, but so what you might do here is, what a kind of naive way to do that is, okay, well, it's not a template command. I'm just gonna do if message.text command is date, then reply with date message. If text command is hello. If that's not fun, you don't want to do that, or you add an if every time you want a new command. Come on, we're better than this. We can do better than that. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a dict, and this is exactly the kind of stuff where, again, it's the same thing as with the message that we created earlier. Doing structuring your data in a better way will improve the structure of your code, your whole control flow, your if statements. It's able to simplify the code you write if you structure your data the right way. So now here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna make a dict here in our init function, in our constructor, and we're just gonna say custom commands, right? And we're just gonna say, well, date, for example, right? And we're gonna put something there, and we might also say, we like pinging and ponging so much, let's say ping and it replies with pong. Why not? Okay. So what do we put there? Well, it's very simple. What function do we want to handle this? Well, we have a function, self.reply with date, right? And then for ping, let's just make another one, reply to ping, and then we just say our text is gonna be, hey message user, nice ping, pong. All right, and we're just gonna send that as the exact same thing. And you may be thinking, well, cool, what did I call reply to ping? Self.reply to ping. And you may be thinking, okay, cool, all right, sorry, that's comma, all right. You may be thinking, okay, but what? Well, here's the thing, okay? We've associated here every command with a function. So here we can very simply do if message dot text command in self dot custom command, so the dict that we just made. And you may be following right now, maybe, okay, cool, but how am I going to call it? Well, here's how you're going to call it. You're going to take the function, you're going to say custom commands, take out that function, just call it. You just call it. You just put parens on the end. It's just a function. No reason you can't call it. So we've remembered the function for every command. So for date, it's reply with date. For ping, it's reply with ping. And in fact, what you can see is that we've kind of standardized this such that we can do this. It wouldn't really, or it can also work. It's a little bit more complicated. It's not even that much more complicated, but then you just have to have a sort of generator function inside this function. I'm not even sure it's a generator. You just like reply with a function and you call that with whatever. But right now our functions are standardized, so that means that our message, or like every one of these functions, right, takes the same argument. It's message, so we know, well, this is a function. It's one of these functions that handles the custom command, and we just call it, and we always call with message because all of them are called with message. So easy peasy, right? And then we just call that thing. And that's it. We're done. Just run it. Let's say ping. It replies with, hey Vlad H, nice ping, pong. And let's, okay, but that we could have done with a text command, with a template command, sorry. Then we just do date, right? And I say, here you go, Vlad H, the date is, and this is the date, right? And so what my point is here is we've handled a custom kind of function. We've handled a function that can have any code that we want in it, any code at all. So it's just a normal function that can reply with anything, but we've standardized it to always take message, and we've put it in a dict. And so now to add the function, we just have to say, let's just add something else. Let's just say a random number, random int, right? Self.reply with random int. Why not? Just get a random number. I think I need to import random. I'm not exactly sure. Rand int, okay, so this is this function reply with rand int, and we've just added that line here. So I'm just moving around a lot. I just wanted to say we've added this line here, right? This reply with rand int function, and we can just define it. Reply with rand int self message, and we can say text equals string of random.rand int. I believe it's from, like, you give it like this kind of thing, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's the syntax. I'm not sure. We're gonna find out together. And basically, if I now say rand int, it replies with 250. Whoops! If I type it right, just 357. And now Twitch is rate limiting me because I've sent the same message. So what I want to say is, let's just put something else after randint, and you can see that I've given it an argument, but it doesn't use the argument. It doesn't care. You can give it an argument. It doesn't mind. It doesn't use it. You know. So it's just another random number. And so we've done all that in this way. You know, it was so simple to add a command. So let's look at what we did. Basically, we have a bot that can use these template commands, that you could really conceivably then add commands to add and remove and edit, so that you can add them via the bot as well, like bang add cmd, and then load it to and from a file. You could do that. We're not doing it right now, but it's very easy. But it's the same structure. And then we also have custom commands which call functions of our choosing. We have this very nice structure, if I dare say so myself, where when we parse the message, we get everything out of it that we may need, and then you can see that in every message that we get, it has all the information that we could possibly need. And it's going to support more template messages, or sorry, more template commands, more custom commands. It's very easy to extend it, and in fact, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that on stream right now. But as for this video, we're gonna end it here. This is actually the Twitch bot that I'm going to use for Clumsy Computer and my other Twitch channel, Vlad H, as well. It's been a lot of fun coding it with you guys. I hope you had a good time. I hope that was interesting. Now, if you would like to join in on other fun extras, such as what we're just about to do on the Twitch stream right now, please stop by the Twitch stream. We'd love to have you. We do more fun stuff like this. It's twitch.tv/clumsycomputer. And if you have any suggestions for what I should do in the future, you can write it in the comments or anywhere. You know, like, not anywhere, like, don't write it on a piece of paper and throw it away, but like, you can just write it in Twitch chat or wherever you feel like. And if you would like the code to this, it will be posted on GitHub. So the GitHub is going to be in the description of the YouTube video, and it's also in the sort of description of the Twitch channel. And yeah, that's gonna be it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Take care, have a great time, have fun programming, and I'll see you next time.